Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. That's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and I'm Tyler Merkovich, bringing you Week 11 action. We have Pittsburgh coming off a loss, Kansas City coming off a win. Unorthodox right there, but for the Steelers, they need to get that offensive line back in place. It's not going to be as tough as it was against Cincinnati with Kansas City here, but what are your keys to victory for Pittsburgh? They got to stick to the run. Mendenhall only had 13 rushes. They're going to need to be more balanced against Kansas City.
Well, they're going to have some opportunities to bust some big runs against the Chiefs' front seven. So they have to really rededicate themselves to a running game and not try to turn their offense into a 60-40 pass run. Try to get that balance, especially against this week, running against the 3-4 with those two talented tight ends they have in Pittsburgh. That's number one. Two, defensively, you want to get after Matt Cassel. Matt Cassel still has some problems with accuracy. He gets rattled in the pocket. They're going to pressure these guys because Polamalu may be out again due to the knee injury. So they're going to have to get after Cassel, and they should have some success getting after Kansas City and shut down what they do in the running game as well as in the passing game. Third, special teams has to show up. You saw what happened last week. Bernard Scott can't have the Chiefs get cheap touchdowns to keep these guys in the game, momentum builders, so they really have to show up on special teams, punt return, as well as kickoff return.
Jammal Charles played great last week against Oakland, had that huge run for a touchdown. He's their premier back now, their go-to back. And Dwayne Bowe-Sighting, who had 93 yards receiving. Matt Cassel finally finding one of his biggest and best targets, getting him involved. Defense played well, but the Oakland offense is terrible. You're going to face Ben Roethlisberger, a much better offense with 3 great receivers, 2 great tight ends, a running back that's still there. Got to try to get after that offensive line, which has been inconsistent, but I think they're going to put it together. So what are the Chiefs' keys to victory, which is probably a long laundry list?
Well, the Chiefs have to get after Roethlisberger and hit him early. Because if you hit Roethlisberger, yes, he's deadly out the pocket, but Roethlisberger, you have to get and hit him early to disrupt his time, because Roethlisberger has a knack for looking at the one read and then taking off and making plays on the run. So if you hit him, you're going to force him to make that one read, and that's it. Don't allow Roethlisberger to scan the field and wait for somebody to get open because he's a talented athlete. Second, Jammal Charles has a repeat performance, because that's the way you have to run right at this Steelers defense. That's how you stop the pressure. You run right at it. They have a pretty good tight end. It's probably not a blocker in Ryan, but Ryan can make some plays. He's going to have to be more of a force to make these Steelers linebackers cover him outside on the flanks. So Chiefs have to play sound defensively, slow the game down, develop the running game. Charles is going to have to – they run mostly out the spread. So Charles is going to have opportunities to break some long runs, especially playing at home up to their home crowd, one of the toughest places to play in Arrowhead. So they're going to have some success in all 3 facets of the game. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers because even though they're missing Polamalu, Pittsburgh has enough pressure to disrupt Matt Cassel. And I can't see Matt Cassel and Bowe having some success 2 weeks in a row.
Absolutely. I like the Steelers also. And they've been buying into their hype a little too much. They need to stay consistent. That secondary is not the same without Polamalu, even though they won't need it against the Chiefs. They're going to bring it together. That offensive line really needs to get going because they need to make a playoff push right now, because the AFC is loaded with possible contenders to get into that wild card, and now they're behind Cincinnati, and Baltimore's hard charging. That's just in the division. They got other teams like Jacksonville, Houston, San Diego, Miami might get back to the mix. So Pittsburgh needs to really put it together as the defending champions. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL.